Nate's Wild Ride.
And welcome to Nate's Wild Ride Cast, where we talk all things Colorado with a little bit of an edge. If you're new here, the goal is to entertain, inform, maybe even get you a little bit enlightened. So buckle up, keep your arms and legs inside at all times, and enjoy the ride. And today we're talking to a guy that's, he's in a few bands. He's going to be playing the Mesa Theater Sunday the 26th in his band Rooster. Jon Kibble. How you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your day. Now, before we get into, the big show we got coming up, which, by the way, Mesa Theater, March 26th, do me a favor and tell me about, first, the band Rooster that you're in. It's an Alice in Chains tribute, correct?
It is.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about what people can expect when they see a Rooster concert.
Well, we would like to believe that we are trying to be genuine to, Alice in Chains and try to mimic the look a little bit. And we've got a configuration in the band where we're, a four-piece band, just like Alice in Chains is. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Lane is hard to replicate because his voice is, it's unique and there's not anyone out there that can do it.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
But, I've got such a passion for that band, and, we make it work. There's a lot of people that don't like William Duvall, who's the current singer for Alice in Chains.
I am not one of those people, by the way. Love what he does.
Yeah, William's a great dude, man. I mean, he never tried to fill in Lane's shoes. He was literally just trying to help express the music out to people, and, they've tweaked and developed into a different sound, and, a Rooster show is similar. We don't sound just like, Lane era Alice in Chains.
Mm-hmm.
We play a lot of the same songs. We play a lot of the older stuff from Facelift and Dirt and Sap and, Jar of Flies.
Cool.
We do all those songs, as best as we can and give it justice, and I feel like we do a pretty good job of that. But my voice is definitely not as gritty as Lane. I've got great range, and so I can hit the notes that Lane hits. He just sounds a little different,
Sure, yeah.
But we always joke around. Zach, who's the Jerry Cantrell in our band, he's got a very gritty voice, and so we always joke that he does like a gritty Jerry.
Okay.
Jerry's voice is normally clean, and my voice is like a clean Lane, and so it kind of balances out, and it works pretty well. So yeah, it turns out great, and it's great to be able to play a lot of the songs that I haven't seen Alice in Chains with Lane. I never got a chance.
I never did either. No,
Lane, unfortunately. Yep. So, but I did. As soon as they came back with William, I've seen them probably about 15 to 20 times.
Oh wow!
And I love it, man. They do the music justice still.
They absolutely do, yeah.
Yeah, but we play a lot of the stuff that you don't get to hear at those shows, and it's nice to be able to pick out some of the B-side stuff that people don't hear at the show, and it's nice to be able to get feedback from other people that are like, I went to Alice in Chains shows back in the day, and I never heard them play that song.
Oh, yeah.
It's great to be able to do that. So,
Very cool. Yeah, not to get too off topic, but me and my wife are both huge Alice in Chains fans. I mean, I think that was one of the points when we started talking about Alice in Chains, like, okay, this is my lady, you know what I mean? And I have seen Alice in Chains with William 3 times. And, the third time was her first of any iteration of Alice in Chains. And, she's asking me, like, is it going to be good? I was like, just wait, it's going to be great, And she was more than pleased, singing along to every song. And yeah, it's not Lane, but it's what Alice in Chains is now. And he's, like you said, he's not trying to be Lane. So just my 2 cents.
Well, and that's the thing, too. I think everybody has such a high expectation, because Lane's voice was so unique. And I think a lot of people forget that Lane had a really short stint. He had a very short, successful career where he was good. He got to a point where he wasn't able to tour, and towards the end of his career in like the 95, 96 time frame, he really just started going downhill. And you see some of those performances that they had on there, and it's sad. It's sad to watch. But you see William, and if you listen to it, you hear, in the 3 albums that they've done with William, you can hear Jerry's influence more. If you kind of listen to a lot of solo Jerry stuff from the 90s and 2000s,
Sure.
a lot of Jerry solo stuff bleeds into the newer Alice in Chains stuff. It sounds a lot more like Jerry and not so much Lane. And so it's very familiar.
Yeah, that's very true. Your band is Rooster, Alice in Chains tribute, which I'm so excited for. And there's going to be all kinds of, tribute action going on at the show at the Mesa on the 26th. Another band is called Schism, a Tool tribute, as well as My Own Summer, which is a Deftones tribute. Now, are these other bands Colorado-based as well?
Schism is not. So Schism, I believe, is based out of New York.
Oh, wow, okay.
They've been around for over a decade. I think 15 to 20 years they've been performing. So they've been around the block.
As long as that song has been around, at least, then.
You're right. That's what I was going to say. They jumped on board right away. And so I think they've been around for a while, but they tour nationally every year, and they do a ton of shows. But, My Own Summer is Denver-based.
Okay.
David Stasny, who's the bass player in that band, actually helped form Rooster. So he was actually our original bass player in Rooster. And he played one show with us and then couldn't do it at the time. I think he just had a baby at the time, so he just couldn't manage all that stuff. So, they've been around for a while, and they're an amazing band. We've played a ton of shows with those guys, and good friends of ours. And
sweet. Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. In addition to Rooster, the Alice in Chains tribute you're in, are you in a couple other tribute bands as well?
So I was in a Candlebox tribute for a little while, and we're not actively doing anything anymore. It's not to say that we won't ever do anything again, but we just haven't really come together. That's a hard sell. Candlebox is a great band, but
I agree.
Everybody knows the first album pretty well.
Yeah.
And anything beyond that is kind of like, who is this? I've never even heard this song before.
Well,
so it's really hard to. Yes. So we're not doing much with that. I'm in a cover band called Grunge Light.
Okay. Yeah.
That does 90s alternative rock covers. So we do a lot of, we do some of the grunge stuff. We do some Soundgarden and Nirvana and Alice in Chains. We do a little bit more of the light stuff in the 90s. So we do like Dishwalla and the Toadies, and we do, Stabbing Westward.
Yeah.
We do a ton of stuff that you don't hear a good mix of that stuff with a lot of these 90s cover bands. So we try to take it to the extreme a little bit without going too crazy, and then also do some of the lighter stuff also.
Right on.
Yeah,
the 90s are big right now too, man, and it's one of my favorite eras. It's probably actually is my favorite era of music, period.
It should be.
Right?
It's the best one.
I agree. We're going to be talking to Jon Kibble from Rooster a little later. First, though, I want to hear from you, all right? We're talking about tribute bands, cover bands in Colorado. I want to know who some of your favorites are. So if you got some tribute bands you like or, local cover bands, shoot us an app chat message via our 95 Rock app, all right? I want to hear from you. Switching gears a little bit today, talking to Jon Kibble. He is the singer of Rooster, a Colorado-based Alice in Chains band that are going to be playing the Mesa Theater here in Grand Junction on the 26th, so this coming Sunday. So tell me a little bit more about you and kind of your musical journey. Well,
I'm a Colorado native. I was born in Colorado Springs in the 80s. Early 80s, I should say, 1980. So I'm kind of in the on the cusp of Gen X, millennial.
Yep.
Branding, whatever anyone wants to call me.
Yeah, I'm around there too. I'm technically millennial, but I don't like it.
That's what I'm saying. I kind of lean, and I'm very I kind of abuse both sides a little bit. I kind of use it to my advantage when it's necessary.
Right. Yeah.
But I grew up in the Springs and then moved up to the South Denver area when I was 8 or 9, and then I lived kind of in the Littleton Highlands Ranch area my whole adult life. So been around Denver for a while. I used to go to the clubs and stuff in the late 90s and early 2000s, and enjoyed that scene while I could, and then had a family, and so I kind of dipped out of that. I was in an original band back in 2002 to 2006 called After All, and then it was Shadow Work, which kind of rebranded and had another singer for a little while, but we were a new metal-ish band, I guess, at the time, like every other band.
Yeah.
It was either screamo or new metal, whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah. But I left that band after my son was born, and, just kind of did the family thing for a long time, and took a break from music. And then when my son was a little older, I started singing karaoke a lot, and realized that I really enjoyed just being out and singing in front of people again. So I started running karaoke with a company down here in Denver, and started doing karaoke at 2 or 3 bars a week, and had a great time. I don't know if you remember the Denver area much, but there was a bar called Crocs down off Market and 16th. So it was a sports bar, and it was great because, I was working karaoke there Wednesday nights, which, during the week you would think that it would be dead. But because it was right off of Market and 16th Street Mall, there was just a ton of walk-in traffic, and so
sure.
we'd have 150 people in there, singing, and it was great to be able to perform in front of all those people. And so I did that karaoke thing for a while, and just to keep my chops up. And back in 2016, David Stasny approached me and had this idea for this Rooster band, and told me that he thought that I would be a great fit for it. At the time, I was kind of hesitant because I don't have that lame voice, so I was really worried that I wouldn't do justice.
Yeah,
and I didn't want to piss anybody off.
Sure, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, so I reluctantly agreed, and kind of went through the motions with them, and did a couple of rehearsals with them, and everything sounded great, and it worked out well. But as far as my musical ability, styling, my likes, all that stuff, I grew up. My brothers are 8 and 9 years older than I am, and so they were always big into like the 80s hair metal stuff, and all the hair band, Poison, Motley Crue, Skid Row, all that stuff. So I had a liking for that stuff just because I was associated with them all the time, and so I always had to listen to it. And so I kind of grew attached to that music a lot, but kind of came into my own in the early 90s. When I was like riding the bus to school, I was listening to Dirt. I had Dirt in my Discman on the bus, so I was listening to that, and like Soundgarden, Bad Motor Finger was a big one for me, and so I kind of developed my own style based off of just all that 90s stuff that was coming out. But I had a really big passion for the voice, right? Like Chris Cornell being able to wail. And so I would always try to mimic his voice when I was listening to that stuff. And I'd be singing like Rusty Cage and stuff like that. And I didn't really know that I could sing until I got old enough to where I was like out at karaoke bars and stuff like that, and I was doing these songs that people were like, "Oh, try this song," and I would do it, and they're like, "Holy crap, I can't believe you can hit those notes." So
that's impressive, man.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's how I learned I could sing, was just trying songs out that nobody else would do. So
wow, that's that's super impressive, man. Because Lane and Chris are prime examples of just some of the best singers that history has ever seen. That have ever sung into a microphone. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys for the first time. On that note, we're going to take a little break and get back with Jon a little later. But first, I just want to remind you, I am looking to hear from you. If you could send me an app chat message via the 95 Rock app about some of your favorite Colorado-based, either tribute bands, cover bands. That's kind of what we're talking about today. So appreciate it. Thank you in advance. And once again, just shoot us a message on your 95 Rock app. We're talking to Jon Kibble from Rooster, Colorado-based Alice in Chains band. They got a show at the Mesa Theater on March 26th. So tell me a little bit. You mentioned before we started talking, actually, on the air, that you just started playing guitar because of Rooster, correct?
Well, so I played guitar when I was 13. I think I got my first guitar when I was 13.
Okay, me too. 13's a big age, usually.
It is, yeah. That's when you start developing that passion, right? You see all the rock stars, and you're like, I could do that.
Yeah.
So awesome. Yeah, but I got my first acoustic guitar at that time. I think I actually stole it from my brother because he got it from a pawn shop and never played it, and so I always took it and fiddled around with it. And I think I was always playing it like Jeff Healey, like on my lap.
Oh yeah,
with my thumb instead of yeah.
With your eyes closed.
No, I wish that I was that good, right? I couldn't do that. Yeah, no, but I always noodled around with it and would just try to do what I could on there, and then I think when I got to be about 17, I started getting a little bit more interested in it, so I got an electric guitar. Never took lessons or anything, and so I always got super discouraged because I never sounded that great. And at that time, we didn't really have YouTube or anything, right? So you had to,
guitar magazines.
Go buy the tablature.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I would always try to pick that stuff up, and I'd learn to play a little bit, but I'd always get frustrated. And I had like a Gorilla amp. It was like a 5-watt Gorilla amp or something. It was terrible. And no distortion, and so it always sounded like crap. It never sounded like the songs I wanted it to play. So, but yeah, so I never really did much with it. You know, I had a guitar, and I'd play around with it here and there, blah, blah, blah. And then when I, jumped into Rooster, they started asking about playing acoustic because we do a lot of songs like Rooster or Down in the Hole, songs that have a very clean guitar sound behind
some of that Jarfly stuff or the stuff they played it unplugged, Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so, he said it would be really cool if we had you being able to do that. And so I really started focusing on getting better and developing my ability to play and sing at the same time, which was really hard. It's not easy. So over the course of the past, I think it's been 7 years now. Holy crap. But over time, I started developing a want to get better at electric and be able to do some more distortion and stuff like that in the show because William, I don't know if many people have seen him, but William's an amazing guitar player.
Yeah, that's how he got in the band, basically, was playing guitar. Yeah,
yep.
Sure.
Yeah, and he's just incredible. And so he adds a whole new element to Alice in Chains that they never had before on a live show.
Sure, yeah.
And so we wanted to be able to kind of replicate that a little bit and do some of the stuff that you heard on, Dirt or Facelift with two guitars live instead of just Jerry playing. And there's a lot of thickness that's missing from those songs when you hear them live without it. So I've really just put a focus on that to try to get better. And over the course of that, just like we talked about, I'm buying too expensive guitars for my playing ability. But it's fun. It gives me an outlet to try to get better. And it makes me focus on trying to fine tune myself to be able to do more. And so it's been great.
Sure. I can totally relate, man. Love it. We're talking to Jon Kibble from Colorado-based Alice in Chains tribute band Rooster. They're going to be playing the Mesa Theater March 26th. We're going to talk to Jon one more time here in just a few. So keep it locked right here on 95 Rock. Once again, we're talking to Jon Kibble. He is in a band called Rooster, Alice in Chains tribute band based in Colorado. They're going to be playing the Mesa Theater on Sunday, March 26th. Now, besides the show you guys got coming up, what's on the horizon? Anything else we should know about that's going on with Rooster or even your other band, Grunge Light?
Well, so Rooster, we're trying to branch out a little bit more this year. We've always kind of focused around the Denver area. So that's kind of the reason that we're doing this Mesa show is we're trying to take that next step to get out of town and try to get around in the, outer states around Colorado, possibly Vegas, maybe California. We've got a Pearl Jam band that we played with back in 2020 at the Summit Music Hall in Denver.
Was that 10?
That's out of, no, this one is Corduroy.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And so they're a national tribute. They play all over the place, and they asked us, if you guys want to come out and play a show out here in California, we're welcome to get you on a couple of shows out here to make it worth your while. And so we're trying to develop that, but we're working on that and trying to go outside of our comfort zone this year just to get some new fans and try to build a little bit better following, around the area. So we're getting there. Grunge Light, I think we're going to try to start getting out a little bit as well. We're fairly new. We just started doing full electric shows this past year, so we're a little over a year old.
Okay.
We've done 4 shows, and we booked out 6 or 7 this summer so far, and we're doing a lot of outdoor festival type shows, so that'll be fun.
Very cool.
And then I don't know all of the people that are going, but it sounds like I will be singing at the Wayne Staley tribute out in Seattle in August.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So they do that every year, and they do it at the Crocodile out there. So I'll be able to go out there, and I'm hoping I'll be able to sing Friday and Saturday night. They're doing an acoustic set on Friday, and then the full electric on Saturday.
Wow. Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. I've been looking at it for a long time, and I have a couple of super fans here in Colorado that are like Lane crazy people, and they go to it every year, and they're like, you should go out there, you're awesome, and we think you would be so great watching you up there with those guys, and so we're making it happen. Super
cool, man. Wow, I'm excited for you. That's killer. Well, hey, once again, it's Jon Kibble we're talking to today. He's the singer of Rooster, Colorado-based Alice in Chains band. They've got a show at the Mesa Theater coming up on the 26th. You do not want to miss it. Also on that bill, Tool tribute band, Schism, My Own Summer is a Deftones tribute. So, John, before we wrap it up, man, where can people find you online? Or, if they want to learn more or maybe get a hold of you, where do they go?
Well, so Facebook's going to be your best bet. We are on Instagram as well. But Facebook is where you're going to get most of the events, and all of our communication is always posted fairly quickly on there. Basically, looking up Rooster, a tribute to Alice in Chains, if you want to search for it on there. You can't miss it. We're the only one.
Very cool. Well, John, thank you so much for chatting with me today, man. I really appreciate it, and I'm definitely looking forward to the show at the Mesa Theater, March 26th.
Awesome, Dave. Thank you so much for your time, buddy.